channel Crawl Outdoors. A couple of people have asked what I do about packing my gear if I'm taking it on an aeroplane before the start of a trek. So this will just show you what I do to try and make it as safe as possible and secure as possible to get through baggage handling at airports. So this is me fully kitted up as if I was ready to go walking. So just to give you a quick look at what I'm carrying. So let's have a look at what I do to make it a lot safer putting this through airport security. The first thing to remember if you are flying is you cannot take gas cylinders or indeed any other types of fuel on board. So take them out, and that means you need to think about how you're going to get them when you get to your destination airport. And gas at the moment with the Ukraine crisis seems to be in fairly short supply. Putting it into gas cylinders for campers isn't the #1 priority, and so quite a few people have reported difficulty finding gas cylinders, so you need as best you can to check out in advance availability at your destination, otherwise you could find yourself stuck. And remember also, you cannot post gas cylinders. They're not allowed in postal parcels and can potentially be confiscated. I fell foul of that on my Cape Wrath trail when I sent a resupply parcel onto Oikle Bridge and they wouldn't deliver it. The next thing to think about is your walking poles. I've never checked, but I assume these aren't allowed on as hand luggage, so you've got to do something with them. So what I do is a couple of things. First of all, I take them apart to make them that bit shorter and smaller, because they're going to have to go inside your rucksac, and although the rucksac will be tall enough to take them, it makes it more sort of flexible for packing, I think, to take them apart. And the other thing I do is take this tip off, because it's quite sharp, and I reckon if that was in your bag and baggage handlers were a bit rough with it and it was being pushed around, there's always a danger that spike would pierce your bag or pierce your sleeping bag or a jacket or something. So I take these off. Now here's a little tip though, getting these off can be really quite hard, and I learned this one from watching YouTube videos. To get them off, what you need to do is get the heaviest weight wrench you've got and adjust the jaws so they just fit over the pole, and then run it down with a good hard sharp whack onto the spike, and it should come off. Sometimes it needs 2 or 3 whacks. If that doesn't work, then you can try putting it into hot water to expand the metal, and then in the freezer to shrink it to try and break the seal, and then whack it off. But I've never had to do that. A good hard whack with a wrench seems to work. Then turning to the pack, what I do is take everything on the outside off completely. So that's my tent is stored there, that comes out, the poles, the pegs, the side pockets. For me, that's my sit mat, my waterproof shoes, my other waterproof shoe, my filter bottle, my water bottle, my trowel, and then on the front straps here I have my PLB attached. Certainly don't want that going astray, and even down to I have some little mini carabiners which are very useful for odds and ends, and I take those off. I don't want them snagging on the conveyor belt, and it depends what items you have in your pockets on your hip belt. This is just some gloves and stuff, so it's not going to get damaged, and indeed it provides a little bit of extra padding. But on the other side I have my sat map GPS, I certainly don't want that getting damaged, so that comes out as well. The problem you then have, of course, is what to do with all this, these items that you've taken out. And there's two solutions, and I use a bit of both. One solution is if you've got spare capacity inside your rucksack, which I have got quite a bit, then you can put a lot, maybe even all of it, inside. But that will require a full repacking. You can't just start stuffing this all on the top, or stick to your tent or something. So you've really got to take all your stuff out, put the big items, the poles, for example, I thread down the middle so they're least likely to sort of get damaged or damage something else, and the tent, and then pack softer items around it and try and keep the whole bag as neat and compact as possible. But the second solution, and I use, as I say, both, is to take a lightweight plastic carrier bag from the supermarket and take a few items on as hand luggage, lighter weight items. You have to measure your size of what your airline allows for hand luggage, but generally you can get quite a few sort of items in there, and I'll show you in a minute when I've done it which ones I can put in, to take them with you. And the reason it's a lightweight plastic carrier bag is you don't want to take a proper second bag, because then you've got to carry it all the way around with you, whereas this one you've got three options. You can just dump it in a litter bin when you get to your destination, you can keep it and use it as a rubbish bag on your trip, or the third one is you can use it for the return journey to do exactly the same thing. Return journey, you're likely to have, well, you will have eaten your food supply, which is quite a reasonable size pack in your rucksack, so that will have given you more space inside. On the other hand, what I tend to do if it's a big trip, I'll stay at a hotel or bed and breakfast on my final night before coming home to clean up and freshen up and shower and everything, and that means I send a resupply parcel of clean clothes and a razor and some shaving foam and some deodorant to the place I'm staying to freshen up, and so I've gained some extra items, so that compensates for the food I've eaten. So I still need to use a handbag for return. So let's, I'll do that and then I'll show you how it all looks when it's ready to go on. So here I am, all packed up, ready to go. Just turn around to show you. And then I'll show you what I've done. So the tent and the poles are inside down the sort of centre of the sack, and the other stuff is packed around, and it's all kept in as tight as possible. And then I cinch all the straps in nice and tightly, so these are all pulled in tightly, and the side pockets, the same sort of thing there. And then I connect the chest strap and do that up to its maximum, so that's pulled in tight, and exactly the same with the waist strap. Clip that in and then pull it into its shortest amount, and that's as best as it can do. And when you take it to the airport, in my experience, you'll find you'll check it in at the check-in desk, but they won't take it onto the baggage conveyor. They'll send you to a sort of special loads area, and you'll be queuing up there with people with ski bags if it's winter, and mountain bike cases, and lots of people with rucksacks. And it goes in there. I don't know whether they treat them differently or look after them better, I always hope so. But that's it, you see it disappear on the conveyor belt, and you just fingers crossed that when it appears at the other end, that it does appear at the other end. There's always a sense of relief when you see it coming around on the conveyor belt at your destination. And then you need to repack it before you start walking. As I say, it's quite a major repack, and the tent and poles come out and everything else needs to go sort of back in and get organised and sorted. So if you're staying overnight at a hotel or B&B before you start walking, then it's no no need to do it there, you can do it in your hotel room, but if you're planning on starting walking immediately, you perhaps need to take 15 minutes at the airport, find a quiet spot, unpack it and get it all sorted. And this is my hand luggage bag that I mentioned. Just move this out of the way. So, not the most elegant, but it does the trick. And so what I've got in there is my chest pod that I carry, and this has all my sort of more expensive and valuable electronic items in. So it's got my camera, it's got my PLB, and it's got my GPS sat map in there. So they all have to come out on the security check, the hand luggage security check. Remember to take those all out and display them. And then in the bag I put my sleeping bag and my spare clothing bag, which are both relatively lightweight and easy enough to just pop in here and carry. I did one time take my tent on as hand luggage in a bag, but don't make the mistake I did, which was it went through the security x-ray and they pulled this out and called me over, and I'd left my tent pegs inside, rolled up inside the tent, which of course showed up. And I think the security guy must have taken a bit of pity on me when he saw the look of shock horror on my face as I thought my tent pegs were about to be confiscated. And so he let me keep them, but told me not to do it again, which I haven't. But I tend now not to take the tent in as hand luggage at all. Clothing and a sleeping bag aren't going to cause any problems going through security. So good luck with that. Hope that helps for anyone who is planning on flying. And if you found it useful, please give me a tick on the like button. Thanks for watching.